Listen, healing isn't just physical, it's biological, it's mental, and it's emotional. When you combine all three, that's when you can heal faster and you can feel more complete, more whole when it comes to your healing. My name is Anthony Wade, and I'm a physician assistant, but I'm also a natural healing coach. And I help people who've been in accidents or slip and falls or injuries that want to recover naturally and want to do it without, in pills or injections or definitely surgery. So, in this video, we're going to be talking about my philosophy around healing your whole body and how to do it, from my point of view and perspective, how to do it correctly so you're not keeping or staying in that recovery loop and keep doing the same things that's not working over and over again, expecting a different outcome. Now, there's three basic pillars when it comes to this. The first one is stretching. The second is strength, and the third is sustainability. So, when it comes to stretching, a lot of people don't understand after they've been in a car accident, slip and fall. What happens is, again, you have ligaments and tendons all up and down your neck and back. They're all attached to muscle and bone. All that stuff gets jerked around, pulled, stretched, or torn. It's going to cause pain and inflammation. The pain is going to cause the surrounding muscle tissue to tighten up, and that can cause even more pain, which causes more tension, more pain, more tension, and it's a cycle and a loop that can prolong your injury. It's what I call the pain tension cycle, and it goes around and around and around. And the way to break out of that pain tension cycle, the way to break that loop, is mainly with stretching. And it's a certain way that you have to do it, but you have to get your body moving. What happens with a lot of my patients is they think that, well, every time I move, it hurts. Or let me back up. Every time I move, it causes more pain, so I'm just not going to move. Well, unfortunately, that'll make it worse after a while. Or you get the crowd of people that's like, I'll just go to the gym and work it out, and they flare it up and make it worse. So, what I found over the years is if you just stretch on a regular basis throughout the day, is going to help you out a whole lot more than doing nothing. Back in the days, I've said this all the time, that we used to prescribe bed rest for back pain, but then we discovered that it was getting worse. See, your body starts to break down, your muscles, particularly the muscles, the ligaments, and the tendons. If you want to do a little test, I want you to put your arm in a sling and wear that sling for a couple of days and don't move your arm. What do you think is going to happen when you finally get that sling off? Go ahead and put in the comments what you think will happen to your arm after you've been in a sling for about 3 or 4 days. Well, what's going to happen is that those muscles are going to start to break down, and they're going to start to what we call atrophy. That's a breakdown of the tissue. It starts to die off. If you ever been in a cast before, or been there when they've taken somebody's cast off, I've had a few in my days. I had a cast on my ankle back when I was 13 years old, racing BMX bikes. If you don't know, that is my sport. That's something that I love to do. I broke my ankle. I also have broken my wrist, shattered some bones in that, and I've had cast on each time. And what happens when we finally take the cast off, that extremity looks like the Walking Dead. I mean, it's all shriveled up, it's small, it really looks pathetic. It doesn't look like your own, and that is because it's been locked in that position to help heal. Because when you break a bone, in that case, that's one of the cases that you do want to stabilize the bone, both ends of the bone. So that's why you put it in a cast, so it can heal faster. But that's not the same when it comes to joints and soft tissue that have been pulled, stretched, or torn and need to recover. That is not the time to sit around and Netflix and chill and not to do anything. I can't tell you how many times I've talked to my patients about moving and the importance of stretching. And when they come back to see me, they'll tell me, well, I've been doing it sometimes, but I'm in the bed, most of the day, so I don't get a chance to do it. I'm like, oh, that is the wrong thing to do, to lie in the bed after you've been injured. I know it feels like you're in pain and you just don't want to do anything. But if you lie in bed and don't move, or even sitting for long periods of time, it's not going to do you any justice. In fact, it's going to make it worse over time. So it's very important that you get up, you move, you stretch, you get your body going. It's also important that you don't overdo it. Unfortunately, a lot of people have jobs and whatnot that they do manual labor, and they're required to continue to push forward. But to the best of your ability, take frequent breaks, get other people to help you out, but you got to stay in motion, but don't overdo it. So the second thing, again, is strengthening. Once you have started to get that flexibility back and improve the stiffness and gotten that out and start to get some functionality going, it's time to strengthen up that ligament, that tendon, that joint. Now, when it comes to joints, if you injure a joint and you want to recover, is basically you have to rebuild the muscles, ligaments, and tendons that support that joint. So, like if it's your knee, you're going to be working on your quads, your hamstrings, your calf muscles, and the muscles in the front of your leg, your lower leg, that will help out to support the knee, to strengthen the knee, to make it stronger. You have to strengthen those body parts in order to help to heal them, and it's a process. It's not jump in the gym and start slapping on weights and pushing it as hard as you can. It's a slow process where you basically add a little, add a little, add a little to you start to get some recovery. Sometimes you will flare things up. That's understandable, but at that point, that's when you got to back it back down. You're always starting off at square one. You got to crawl before you walk, before you run, and that is the basic concept, the mindset that you got to get in when you're trying to recover. But you have to rebuild those broken down tissue. Once you've loosened them up, then you got to rebuild them. So you got to strengthen it. And that leads to the third thing, with is sustainability. You have to be able to stay healthy, stay fit, and you don't want to re-injure yourself, and you have to basically get a routine together that you can keep going the rest of your life. I've said this before, my underlying sneaky goal is to help people to recover so they can be better than they were before the accident, so they can improve their body and be able to live a long life and have a long lifespan as well as a long health span. Because in your final days, you don't want to be still alive, but somebody has to push you around, somebody has to feed you, somebody has to basically care for you. You want to have a long lifespan and a long health span. I always say this, if you don't start lifting weights, or should I say, if you don't start pushing weights, somebody's going to wind up having to push you. Now, I don't mean, jump in there and start lifting a bunch of weights, but eventually you have to get that to sustain what you've built when it comes to the stretching, when it comes to the rehabbing, the rebuilding, the strengthening. You have to be able to sustain it. And you got to do that with, weights. And they don't have to be big, heavy weights, but you have to be able to push yourself. I get a lot of, well, my job is my exercise. Well, what you do on a regular basis, your body gets used to. So you have to push yourself a little more to be able to sustain what the work that you've put in to recover. So that's basically it when it comes to the overall simplified healing process. You have to stretch and loosen stuff up. You have to rebuild it by strengthening it. And then you have to maintain it by continuing to exercise, continue to build muscle, because the muscle is your protection. And if you don't have the muscle, you're going to be like a loose noodle flopping around, and that's how you can re-injure yourself. So I hope that this has been some type of benefit. We have a a challenge that if you're interested in, if you've been in an accident, car accident, slip and fall, you've injured yourself, and you still got a lot of stiffness and aches and pains all over your body, there's a process that you need to take your body through in order to get back on the other side to better health and being able to function and to move. And we have a 5-day challenge that you can participate in. If you want that help, just there should be a link in the notes somewhere that will show you how to get into that 5-day challenge. But it's a breakdown of how to heal naturally and what you can do to help yourself in order to recover your own self. And it coincides, it goes along with any treatment options, or what I say, different modalities that are out there, whether you're doing therapy or seeing a chiropractor or massage, whatever it is that you're doing. This can help you out to make those even more beneficial. So again, I hope this has been some type of help for you, and stay tuned in my next video. It should have been like the second video, but I'm going to get into a little bit of a understanding of your MRI. One of the biggest things that people miss and don't do is get an MRI right away after their accident, because you have to understand what's going on inside your body to be able to match up those injuries to what's on the MRI. And in order to understand that, it is not written for patients. It's really written for other medical people. So in this next video, we're going to get into understanding your MRI and to teach you what's on it. I'm not trying to make you a MRI specialist or anything like that, but a little bit of a breakdown so you can get some understanding. So I will see you in that next video. Again, I hope this has been some type of help for you. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll be able to bring some more of this information to you if you're in that boat. So I'll see you in the next video.